Listen to me. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your friend, not your boss, not the government, not the universe. Nobody, and that ain't a reason to quit. That ain't a reason to feel sorry for yourself. That should be a wake-up call. You've been sitting around waiting for help, waiting for motivation, waiting for someone to push you, for someone to give you an opportunity. Let me tell you something. An opportunity ain't given, it's taken. And the only one who's going to take it is you. See, the problem is you've been lied to. You were told that if you just manifest it, if you think positive, it'll fall in your lap. But that's not how the real world works. In the real world, the lion that eats is the one that hunts. You don't eat because you're cute. You eat because you grind, because you bleed, because you show up when it's hard. I don't care how you feel. Your feelings don't build empires. Your grind does. You think you got time. You don't. You think someone's gonna come fix it for you. They won't. You think someone's gonna come fight your battles. They're not. The only one coming for you is you. You don't need saving. You need to step into your power. You need to look in the mirror and realize that everything you need is already in you. Get up, move forward, build discipline, build character. Stop waiting, start creating. Stop hoping and start doing. Because when you finally understand that nobody's coming to save you, that's the moment you'll realize you were built to save yourself. You've been waiting for a lifeline. Waiting for somebody to come knock on your door and say, hey, I got you. I see you struggling. Let me help you. But let me break the truth to you, raw and unfiltered. That knock is not coming. That phone call, it ain't coming either. Because nobody's coming to save you. Not now, not ever. And the faster you accept that, the faster your life will change. You can't keep placing the blame outside yourself. You can't keep pointing fingers and expecting someone else to carry your load. The truth is simple. Brutal, yes, but simple. Your life is your responsibility. Too many people live in a fantasy where they believe a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a family member, a boss, or some magical moment is going to swoop in and change everything. But it doesn't work like that. You might get a nudge. You might get a little guidance, but the real work, that's on you. Your dreams don't care about how you feel. Your future doesn't care if you're tired. Your potential doesn't care if you're scared. You either show up and do what needs to be done, or you sit back and let life beat you. Those are the only options. Think about how many times you said, if only someone would help me. If only someone gave me a chance. If only someone believed in me. But the truth is, all those if-onlys are distractions. Because while you're stuck waiting for someone to give you permission to live your life, time keeps ticking. Opportunities keep passing. And people who decided to take ownership of their reality, whether they had support or not, are out there winning. You don't need more support. You need to become the kind of person who doesn't wait for it. Nobody's coming to hold your hand every step of the way. Nobody's coming to give you a blueprint. Life doesn't hand out manuals. You're not owed anything. You're not entitled to success. You earn it through late nights, early mornings, through tears, through failure, through hustle. You earn it when you choose to rise, even when no one's watching. You earn it every time you silence that voice that says, give up, and you respond with action instead. There's no magic switch. No one moment that changes it all. It's daily choices. It's waking up and deciding, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm showing up. It's pushing through the days when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's building yourself piece by piece, moment by moment, habit by habit. The results won't come overnight, but they will come. Not because you waited on some, but because you worked for them too often. Too often people confuse responsibility with blame. They think that taking responsibility means it's your fault, that life handed you the short end of the stick. That's not what it means. It means that even if it's not your fault, it's still your fight. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But you do have to respond to it. Because nobody else will do it for you. No one is waking up in the morning thinking, how can I make sure they succeed today? That's your job. That's your mission. And when you finally accept that, something inside you changes. You stop wasting energy on what should be, and you start focusing on what is. You stop begging for help, and you start building strength. You stop waiting to be chosen, and you choose yourself. That's when momentum starts. That's when people begin to notice. Not because you asked them to, but because they can't ignore the fire in your eyes, the consistency in your grind, the shift in your energy. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. You've been told that things will work themselves out, but they don't. You have to work them out. You've been told that someone will come along and see your potential, but they won't. You have to show them what you're made of. You've been told that time will heal everything, but time alone heals nothing. Only effort does. Only intentional action does. Time doesn't change things, you do. And I know it's scary. I know it's overwhelming. I know you got every reason in the world to say, this is too much. But you know what? The people who break through, the people who rise, those are the ones who feel the fear and move anyway, who stare down the pain and keep walking, who feel the weight of the world and still take another step. That's you. That has to be you. Because if it's not you, then no. So stop scrolling. Stop complaining. Stop hoping for a hero. Look in the mirror. That reflection staring back at you, that's the one who has to do the work. That's the one who has to fight. That's the one who has to rise. You don't need more time. You don't need more money. You don't need someone to hand you a golden opportunity. You need to make a decision that from this moment forward, you're done waiting. You're done hoping. You're done hoping. You're done depending on others to do what only you can do. Nobody's coming to save you because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to conquer. You keep sitting there waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. You keep thinking that one day you're going to wake up and just feel like it. Feel like getting up early. Feel like going to the gym. Feel like building your dream. Feel like fixing your life. But let me be real with you. That day is not coming. Motivation is not magic. It doesn't fall out of the sky. And it doesn't show up on your doorstep. You keep treating your future like it depends on how you feel today. But your feelings are liars. They'll tell you to sleep in. They'll tell you to quit when it hurts. They'll tell you to wait for a better time, a better mood, a better season. And while you listen to those feelings, somebody else, somewhere is working, grinding, showing up when it's hard. And they're going to pass you up because they learned the truth that will change everything for you. Success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. There are days you're going to wake up tired. There are days you're going to feel broken, unmotivated, depressed, discouraged. And if you let those feelings dictate your behavior, you'll stay stuck. You'll let opportunities pass. You'll find yourself years later wondering why your life looks the same while everyone else around you has moved forward. The truth is, motivation is a byproduct. It comes after action, not before. You want to feel inspired? Show up. You want to feel like a winner? Do the work. You want to feel momentum? Build it. But you can't wait for inspiration to knock. You have to move even when it's dark, even when it's quiet, even when no one's clapping for you. People keep asking, how do you stay motivated? And that's the wrong question. The real question is, how do you stay disciplined when you're not? Because discipline is the thing that carries you when motivation runs out. It will run out. You'll have great days where you feel like you're on top of the world, but you'll also have days where you feel like staying in bed. Yeah. And on those days, you have to decide who's in charge, your purpose or your emotion. The people you look up to, the ones who build something out of nothing, they didn't wait to feel good about it every day. They moved when it was inconvenient. They worked when they were tired. They stayed focused when they were tempted. They did what needed to be done even when their minds and bodies told them to quit. That's what separates the successful from the average. The ability to act regardless of how they feel. That's what discipline looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it's the bridge between dreams and results. You think discipline is punishment, but it's not. It's the highest form of self-love. You love yourself enough to do the hard thing. You know what you're worth. You love yourself enough to keep promises to yourself. That's what builds confidence. Not hype, not external praise, but the quiet commitment to do what's necessary over and over and over again. That's how you become unstoppable, not because you never feel down, but because you never let it stop you. Your future doesn't need your motivation. It needs your consistency. It needs you to show up every day like your life depends on it, because it does. The longer you wait for the right mood, the more life will pass you by. And it won't wait for you to feel ready. Opportunities don't wait for you to geese, don't wait for you to get in the right headspace. Life doesn't pause while you get motivated. Life keeps going, and if you don't keep up, you'll get left behind. Look at how many times you've let your feelings win. How many workouts you skipped. How many projects you never started. How many goals you let go of just because you didn't feel it that day. Every time you choose comfort over purpose, you strengthen that habit. Every time you let a lazy mood dictate your actions, you train yourself to give up. But guess what? You can reverse that. You can reverse that. You can build new habits. Every time you push through, even just a little, you become stronger. You prove to yourself that you're in control, not your moods, not your fears, not your doubts. You. There is nothing wrong with feeling low. Everyone feels it. But what you do in those low moments determines everything. Some people let their feelings become excuses. Others use them as fuel. You got to choose which one you're going to be. Will you be the one who lets emotions run their life? Or will you be the one who rises above and leads themselves through the fire? Nobody's coming to light a fire under you. You have to light it yourself. You have to wake yourself up, hype yourself up, and get moving even when it's cold, even when it's silent, even when it's lonely. That's what building a legacy looks like. That's what greatness demands. You want results? Then build discipline. Discipline is the difference between wanting and winning, between almost and actually. Between dreaming and living, you don't need more motivation. You need to stop listening to the part of you that wants comfort. That voice will always be there. Let it talk, but don't let it lead. You lead. You drive. You decide. Let your discipline speak louder than your feelings, louder than your excuses, louder than your doubts. Because when the feeling fades, and it always does, it's discipline that keeps you moving. Discipline is what gets it done. There are going to be days when everything feels heavy. Days when you're worn out, when your body is screaming for rest. When your mind is clouded with doubt. When it feels like you're dragging yourself through life with nothing but sheer force. Those are the days that separate the ones who want it from the ones who are truly built for it. It's easy to show up when you're feeling good. It's easy to grind when you're motivated, when you're fired up, when things are going your way. But what about when they're not? What about when it hurts, when it's uncomfortable, when nobody's watching, when the energy is gone, and all that's left is grit? That's when it counts the most. That's when you prove to yourself and to the world what you're really made of. If you only grind when you feel like it, then you'll never reach your full potential. Because greatness doesn't live in comfort. Growth doesn't happen in convenience. The people who rise to the top, they're the ones who show up regardless. Rain, shine, pain, exhaustion, they show up. Not because they feel like it, but because they made a decision a long time ago that their goals matter more than their emotions. Your dreams don't care how tired you are. Your goals don't shrink just because you're sore. Life doesn't slow down to match your energy. If you want something extraordinary, you gotta do what most won't. You gotta push through when your body says stop. You gotta keep going when your mind starts whispering all the reasons you should quit. You gotta tap into something deeper than motivation, something unshakable. That something is your why. That burning reason you started. That vision you have for your future. That version of you that refuses to be average. When you're tired, remember that your body will quit before your mind does. You have more in you than you think. Your limits aren't real, they're imagined. And every time you push past one, you break the mental cage you built for yourself. You build confidence not by feeling strong, but by proving to yourself that you can survive the struggle. You don't become resilient through rest. You become resilient through resistance. Resistance. Resistance builds muscle, builds heart, builds character. The pain is necessary. The discomfort is necessary. They are the price you pay to rise above the level you're currently at. Look around you. Most people settle. They find a routine that's comfortable and they stay there. They live at 60% of their potential and they call it normal. But you're not most people. You wouldn't be here if you were. You feel that hunger in your chest because something inside of you knows you were built for more. But knowing isn't enough. Wanting isn't enough. Wanting isn't enough. You have to move. You have to act. You have to be relentless, especially when you don't feel like it. Because those are the reps that count the most. Those are the sessions that define you. That's where the real transformation happens. Not in the highlight moments, but in the quiet battles no one else sees. You're going to be tested. Life will try to wear you down. It will throw setbacks, disappointments, betrayal, failure, and fatigue your way. But it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. You can break or you can break through. You can tap out or you can tap in. When you feel like stopping, remind yourself that pain is temporary. But regret, that lasts a lifetime. Every excuse you make today becomes a wall tomorrow. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you rob yourself of greatness. There's no magic trick, no shortcut, no hack that replaces consistency. You want to be elite? Then show up when it's inconvenient. Show up when it hurts. Show up when your legs feel like they're filled with cement, when your heart's racing and your lungs are on fire, when you feel like you got nothing left, and then give more. That's how champions are made. Not in perfect conditions, but in pressure, in storms, in struggle. You've got to trust the process even when the results aren't showing yet. Even when it feels like you're doing everything right and still not winning. That's the test. That's life asking you, how bad do you really want it? And you got to answer with your effort, with your hustle, with your refusal to quit. You got to be so driven that even when you're on your knees, you're still crawling forward. Even when you fall, you get back up with fire in your eyes. Every single time you push through, you rewrite your story. You tell your future self, stop. But I kept going, and one day the pain you feel now will become pride. One day, the struggle will be the reason you shine. Not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. The world doesn't need more people who give up. It needs more people like you, people who rise, who fight, who grind, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You need to be willing to show up when everything in you wants to run. You need to be brave enough to chase a dream most people won't even start. And every step you take, every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, it's building something greater than the pain you're feeling in the moment. It's building a legacy. Keep going. You can have big dreams. You can write down goals. You can talk all day about what you want, what you deserve, what you believe is meant for you. But none of it matters if you don't take action. None of it becomes real unless you're willing to do something about it. The world doesn't care what you want. It cares what you're willing to work for. Your intentions don't equal results. Your plans, your vision boards, your affirmations. They're all meaningless without consistent, focused effort. You don't get rewarded for wishing. You get rewarded for grinding. You can have the best ideas, but if they're still sitting in your notebook a year later, they don't count. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you don't show up and execute, someone with half your ability and twice your discipline will win every single time. That's how life works. Suffering. It favors the doers, not the dreamers. It rewards those who take what they have and make something happen, not the ones sitting on potential. Your ideas don't impress anyone until they become actions. Until they're backed by discipline, execution, and perseverance, they're just words floating in your head. People say, I want success. But what they really mean is I want success as long as it's convenient. They want the rewards, not the process. They want the outcome, not the sacrifice. But success doesn't care about your convenience. It doesn't care if you're tired or overwhelmed. It shows up for those who keep moving forward, even when everything inside them is screaming, stop. You're not going to feel like doing the work every day. That's normal. That's human. But what separates the elite from the average is that the elite do it anyway. They don't wait until they're motivated. They train themselves to be consistent. Discipline is the game changer. It's what takes you from potential to progress. Discipline is what gets you up at 5 a.m. to work on your craft. It's what pushes you through the workout when your muscles are burning. It's what makes you sit at your desk and finish that project even when your brain wants to check out. Motivation is nice when it shows up, but it's not reliable. Discipline is the backbone. It's the thing that's there when everything else fails. If you rely on your emotions, you'll fall every time life gets hard. But if you build habits and stick to them, you'll find a way to keep climbing no matter how steep the mountain gets. You need to stop talking and start doing. Because the longer you stay in your head, the more distance you create between where you are and where you want to be. The more time you spend planning without execution, the more momentum you lose. Action builds confidence. Even small steps forward create movement, and movement creates energy. You don't have to know everything right now. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Start messy. Start scared. Start with what you have. But start. You think the people who are winning right now are the smartest, the strongest, the most gifted? Some are, but most aren't. Most aren't. Most are just the ones who refuse to stop. They failed, yes. They doubted themselves, absolutely. But they kept showing up. They kept knocking on doors. They kept swinging. They didn't make excuses. They made moves. And that's what matters. It's not the perfect plan. It's the relentless execution of a simple one. Day after day, even when the results don't show yet, even when no one's clapping yet, even when it looks like they're losing, they kept moving. And eventually the world couldn't ignore them. You don't need to convince anyone that you're serious. Let your actions do the talking. Let your discipline become your reputation. Let your consistency write your legacy. You don't have to prove yourself to people who doubt you. Prove it to yourself by being the person who doesn't quit. Be the one who doesn't break under pressure. Be the one who works in silence while everyone else is talking. You can't fake the grind. You either did the work or you did. You can't shortcut character. You either built it in the fire or you didn't. Results don't lie. You might be able to fool the world for a little while, but eventually the scoreboard tells the truth. And if you've been doing the work, if you've been consistent when nobody was watching, that truth will shine in your favor. So take your goals off the shelf. Dust them off and do something with them. Stop waiting for the right moment because it doesn't exist. Stop waiting to feel ready because that feeling never lasts. Start today right now, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's ugly, even if you fail. Just move. Just act. The gap between wanting and winning is filled with action. Not talk, not theory, not dreams, action. That's the only thing that matters when it's all said and done. You wake up some days and don't feel like doing anything. You feel tired, overwhelmed, maybe even defeated. That voice in your head tells you to skip the workout, to stay in bed, to take it easy just this once. It tells you it's okay to push things off, to rest a little longer, to go easy on yourself. And sure, rest has its place. But if you're letting your emotions control your decision, if you're letting your mood dictate your effort, then you're handing over the keys to your life. Your feelings don't care about your goals. They care about comfort. They care about safety. But growth, that lives on the other side of discomfort. And discipline is the bridge that gets you there. Discipline means showing up when every part of you wants to sit down. It means making the hard choice, not because you feel like it, but because it's the right thing to do. Feelings are temporary. They're like the weather, always changing, unpredictable, unreliable. But discipline is different. Discipline is the internal structure you build to guide your actions regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's the decision to keep going even when the excitement has faded, even when you're tired, frustrated, or uninspired. Discipline is what gets the job done when motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about what happens when you only act on how you feel. One skip day becomes two. Two skip days become a week. Then you look up and realize that you've fallen behind, that you're no longer in rhythm, that your momentum is gone. That's how people lose themselves. Not all at once, but a little at a time. Every time they choose emotions over purpose. Every time they wait for the right move. Every time they let a bad day rewrite the script for a bigger life they said they wanted. If you let your emotions run the show, your life will always be inconsistent. One day you're on fire, the next you disappear. One week you're focused, the next you're making excuses. That kind of life doesn't produce greatness. That kind of life creates regret. But discipline, real discipline, builds something different. It builds trust with yourself. Every time you show up and do the work, even when it's hard, you teach yourself that you can be counted on. You don't need outside validation. You don't need motivation to carry you. You carry yourself. And that's where real confidence comes from. Not from pretending to be perfect, but from knowing you will show up. No matter what, that's powerful. That's unshakable. That's what separates winners from the rest. You see, people think confidence comes from success, but it doesn't. It comes from consistency. You become confident by doing hard things repeatedly. You build belief by keeping your word to yourself, even when no one's watching. That's what makes the difference. Discipline is not punishment. It's a form of self-respect. It's saying, I care about myself enough to do what's necessary, not just what's easy. And it's saying, I will not let a fleeting emotion rob me of a permanent reward. Discipline is what gets you up before the sun when the bed is warm and the world is quiet. It's what makes you push through one more rep when your muscles are burning. It's what makes you write one more page, make one more call, study one more hour, even when your brain is screaming to quit. It's what makes you take responsibility for your life. No, because at the end of the day, no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to chase your dream. No one else is going to fight your battle. That's on you. And the weapon you need most in that fight is discipline. You're not always going to like the process. Some days it's going to suck. You'll be tired, sore, annoyed, and stressed. But you do it anyway. But because the pain of discipline is always lighter than the pain of regret. You can suffer a little now by doing the hard work, or you can suffer a lot later wishing you had. Either way, there's a price. The difference is who's in control, your emotions or your principles. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to be human, but your goals don't care if you're in a bad mood. Your future doesn't care if today feels hard. Your dream doesn't care if you're tired. It only cares if you showed up. And if you want to achieve something meaningful, you have to stop waiting for perfect feelings and start building perfect habits. Feelings will lie to you. They'll convince you to give up right before the breakthrough. But discipline, that will carry you across the finish line. So when the alarm goes off and you don't feel like it, get up anyway. When the workout gets hard, push through anyway. When your mind tells you to stop, keep going anyway. That's how you build the life you say you want. That's how you turn a vision into reality. Not by doing what feels good, but by doing works. And what works every single time is discipline. You keep looking around, thinking someone's going to come fix it. That someone's going to swoop in and make your pain go away. Your problem disappear. Your dreams come true. But that's not reality. This isn't a movie. There is no hero coming. No one's coming to hand you the perfect opportunity. No one's coming to fight your battles. No one's coming to save you from yourself. You've got to understand this at the deepest level. You are the solution. You are the only one responsible for turning your life around. And that's not a curse, it's a gift. Because if it's all on you, that means you don't have to wait on anyone else. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to be chosen. You don't have to sit on the sidelines hoping somebody will notice your pain and pull you out. You pull yourself out. It's not easy. No one said it would be, but it's necessary. You've been waiting for too long, hoping things will change on their own, hoping someone will reach out, give you a break, lend a hand. But what if nobody ever does? What if no one ever makes that call? Will you stay stuck? Will you keep sitting in the same place, holding your breath, waiting? You can't afford to. Life doesn't slow down just because you're struggling. The clock keeps ticking. And if you don't get up, if you don't take the weight off your chest and keep moving, you'll wake up 10 years from now wondering where your life went, wondering why nothing changed. The truth is, the longer you wait for someone to save you, the deeper the hole gets, the harder it becomes to climb out. But every second you waste is a second you could have been building. No one is coming to push you. That's your job. No one is going to force you to believe in yourself. That comes from you. You got to be your own coach, your own motivator, your own hero. You've got to learn to clap for yourself when nobody else is clapping. How to push yourself when no one's watching. How to keep going when your legs are shaking, when your mind is screaming to stop, when everything in your life feels like it's working against you. Because the moment you realize nobody's coming to do it for you is the same moment you take back your power. You have to stop looking for a lifeline and start becoming one for yourself, for your future, for that younger version of you that once believed anything was possible. That kid is still inside you, waiting for you to fight, waiting for you to fight, waiting for you to stop surviving and start living, waiting for you to stop playing small and start chasing what's yours. That kid believed in possibilities before life got heavy. You owe it to them to not give up. You owe it to yourself to fight like hell, even when it's hard. There's no rule book for how to do this. You figure it out as you go. You fall and you get back up. You fail and you learn. You break and you rebuild. You don't need to have it all together to start. You just need to take the first step, the next breath, the next swing. You just need to stop waiting and start doing. Maybe your story's been rough so far. Maybe you've been through more than most. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you seasoned. That makes you capable. Because people who have been through darkness know how to find light. People who have suffered deeply understand the value of rising. Your pain has shaped you. Let it fuel you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to decide you're done being passive in your own life. Done watching the days go by like you're a spectator. You gotta put both feet in. You gotta be relentless. Because once you start saving yourself, once you start fighting like your life depends on it, everything changes. You start to build something no one can take from you. Self-respect, confidence, purpose. The kind of strength that doesn't come from applause or approval, but from knowing deep down that you earned everything you had, that you showed up for yourself when no one else did. People will doubt you. They'll count you out. But it doesn't matter because this is your story, your life, your fight. You don't need their validation. You don't need their permission. You just need to wake up and do what needs to be done. Every single day. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Especially when no one's watching. Especially when everything inside you says give up and you choose not to. That's how you win. Not by waiting, not by hoping, but by taking the reins of your life and driving forward. No matter the obstacles, nobody's coming to save you. And that's okay. Because you're more than capable of saving yourself. Pain is part of the process. It's not a detour, not an error, not some sign that you're on the wrong path. Pain is proof that you're grown, that you're stretching past your limits, that you're becoming someone new. But too many people run from it. They see pain as the enemy, as something to avoid. And so they quit too early. They step away when it gets uncomfortable. They back down at the first sign of resistance. But what they don't realize is that pain is the doorway. If you want to evolve, if you want to rise, you have to go through it, not around it. There's no progress without pressure, no breakthrough without breakdown, no growth without a little grit in your gut. Everyone wants change until change demands something from them. Everyone wants a new life, a better body, a stronger mind, but nobody wants the discomfort that comes with it. And that's the difference between those who dream and those who do. The dreamers hope it'll happen without the suffering. The doers expect the suffering and walk into it head first because they know that on the other side of pain is transformation. On the other side of struggle is strength. And they don't run from that. They lean into it. They embrace the burn, the setbacks, the failures, because they understand those things are shaping them into something better. You don't have to enjoy the pain, but you have to respect it. You have to understand its role in the story. Pain is a teacher. It shows you what you're capable of. It reveals where you've been weak, where you've been lazy, where you've been lying to yourself. It brings truth to the surface. And yeah, it hurts. Growth always does. You're shedding old versions of yourself. You're tearing down limitations that have been holding you back for years. That kind of change doesn't happen quietly. It comes with resistance, with friction, with sweat and tear, and sometimes silence when no one understands what you're going through. But it's okay. Because pain isn't there to destroy you. It's there to rebuild you. Think about it. Every powerful moment in your life, every meaningful victory came after pain. Whether it was the pain of discipline, of loss, of failure, or just the raw fatigue of pushing past your limits, it all shaped you. It made you stronger. It gave you a new lens to see the world and yourself with more clarity. People think the goal is to avoid pain, but that mindset keeps them stuck. It keeps them soft. It keeps them in cycles of quitting and starting over again. Because as soon as things get hard, they run. But those who understand the game, they know that pain is part of the deal. They don't fear it. They use it. You can use your pain as fuel. Every hurt, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it can either break you or build you. That choice is yours. You can let it become your excuse, or you can let it become your power. People love to talk about passion, about fire, about hunger. But the ones who truly level up are the ones who channel their pain into purpose. They take the weight of everything they've been through, Instead of being crushed by it, they carry it. They live with it. They run with it. And eventually, they outrun the very things that try to hold them back. You've got to stop asking, well, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every pain you go through is a lesson in strength and resilience and becoming someone the old you couldn't even imagine. You think you're going through hell, but maybe that fire isn't there to burn you, it's there to refine you. To strip away the excuses, the lies, the fear, to expose what's real. That's where your character is built, not when things are going well, everything's falling apart, and you still show up. When you're tired, when you still get up, when you're afraid and you still take that step forward. It's in those moments when the pain is loud and your hope is quiet that the shift begins. That's where the separation happens. That's where you decide whether you're going to stay the same or rise. And rising isn't pretty. It's not glamorous. It's messy. It's painful. But it's worth it. Because every scar you earn in the process becomes part of your power. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every broken moment becomes the foundation of the strongest version of you. You don't have to fake strength. You don't have to pretend you're not hurting. But you do have to keep going. You do have to believe that the pain you're feeling now has purpose. That it's not wasted. Snabby. That it's doing something deep in you. Something permanent. This isn't just about surviving. It's about using it. It's about stepping into it and saying, oh, this isn't the end of me. This is the making of me. So stop avoiding the discomfort. Stop resenting the pressure. Stop backing away from the very thing that's trying to elevate you. Embrace it. Stand in it. Let it change you, because that pain you feel right now, that's your edge. That's your breaking point, or it's your breakthrough. And the choice between those two is always yours. Excuses are easy. They come naturally. They show up the moment things get hard, the moment fear creeps in, the moment comfort starts whispering in your ear. Excuses are the mind's defense mechanism, a way to justify quitting, to rationalize delay, to protect you from the discomfort of failure or the effort required to grow. But here's the harsh truth. Excuses don't pay bills. They don't move the needle forward. They don't build dreams. Oh, they don't create legacies. Excuses are the invisible chains that keep people average. They sound smart in your head, but they keep you in the exact same place year after year. And if you don't learn how to kill your excuses, will kill your potential. It doesn't matter how good your excuse sounds. Life doesn't care. Life only responds to execution. You can't take your excuse to the bank. You can't cash it in for progress. You can't tell your future kids, I almost made it, but I had a lot going on, and expect them to be inspired by that. The world rewards action, not intention. Everybody has reason. Everybody has pain. Everybody has a story. But the ones who rise are the ones who decide that nothing, no excuse, no challenge, no circumstance is going to stop them. They stop negotiating with themselves. They stop justifying failure. They stop allowing themselves the option to quit. Excuses make you feel good in the moment, but they leave you empty long term. They let you off the hook temporarily, but the bill always comes due later. You can tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, too overwhelmed, too unlucky. You can tell yourself it's not the right time, that you'll try again next week, next month, next year. But all that time you're talking, someone else is working. Someone else is grinding through the same obstacles, the same fatigue, the same pain, and they're moving forward while you're standing still. The truth is, most of the time, the excuse isn't even real. It's fear in disguise. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But fear dressed up as a logical reason, still fear. And if you let that fear control your choices, you'll live your whole life in regret. You'll watch other people live your dream. You'll watch someone else with a jersey you could have earned, run the business you could have started, live the life you could have had. Not because they were better, but because they refused to let their excuses win. You've got to build the muscle to push past the excuses. That means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is holding you accountable, even when it's not fair, not easy, not convenient. Especially then, that's when character is built. That's when leaders rise. That's when transformation happens. Not when everything lines up perfectly, but when you keep moving forward through the mess, through the chaos, through the resistance. You are capable of so much more, but your excuses have been lying to you. Telling you you're not ready, telling you you're too late. But it's almost telling you you're not smart enough, strong enough, connected enough. And the more you believe those lies, the more you shrink. The more you play small, the more you settle for a life that doesn't even scratch the surface of your true potential. But here's the good news. You can break that cycle. Right now, you can make a decision that changes everything. A decision to stop feeding your excuses and start feeding your discipline. Start being brutally honest with yourself. Call yourself out when you're playing games. Stop dressing up laziness and self-care. Stop calling procrastination of patience. Stop pretending you don't have time when you've been scrolling for hours. You have the time. You have the energy. You have the talent. What you don't have is the willingness to sacrifice comfort. And that's the price. That's what it takes. You've got to trade temporary comfort for permanent growth. It's not about being perfect. You're going to slip. You're going to have days when the excuses sneak back in. That's okay. But you've got to catch them. You've got to be self-aware enough to say, that's not true. That's fear talking. And then you act anyway. You move anyway. You keep going anyway. Because that's how you win. Not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by mastering the discipline of doing a hard thing, especially when it's hard. Every time you conquer an excuse, you take back your power. Every time you choose action over delay, you grow. Every time you look in the mirror and say, I take full responsibility, you step deeper into the life you were meant to live. Excuses are easy. Results are earned. And every result is a reflection of the choices you made when no one was watching. So choose better, choose now, choose discipline over excuses, growth over comfort, truth over fear. Your future isn't built on how well you explain why you didn't make it. It's built on how hard you fight to make it happen anyway, no matter what. Rock bottom is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the moment where everything falls apart, where you're surrounded by darkness, where it feels like nobody sees you, nobody hears you, and nothing makes sense. But in that very moment, when it seems like you've lost everything, that's where something powerful is born. That's where truth lives. Because when you're at the bottom, the masks come off. The distractions fall away. There's no pretending. No more lying to yourself. It's just you raw and real, staring down your situation and being forced to decide. Are you going to stay down here or are you going to fight your way out? Everyone loves the comeback story, but nobody wants to live through the rock bottom part. They want the glory, the applause, the recognition, but they don't want the pain, the tears, the loneliness. But those dark moments, those silent battles, those restless nights when it feels like you're losing your mind, that's where strength is built. That's where character is forged. You don't find your power when life is easy. You find it when you're broken and you still get back up. When you've got every reason to quit, but you keep showing up. When the world tells you it's over and you whisper back, not yet. Rock bottom isn't a punishment, it's a reset. It's the universe clearing away everything that wasn't meant for you, every false belief, every toxic habit, every lie you were living. It strips you down to your core so you can rebuild the right way. Because sometimes you have to lose everything to realize what really matters. Sometimes you have to break to find what's unbreakable in you. It's painful, no doubt, but it's also necessary because it wakes you up. It makes you look in the mirror and ask the hard questions. Who am I really? What do I stand for? What am I willing to do to get out of this? When you hit bottom, you find out what you're made of. That's when your survival instinct kicks in. That's when your fight gets real. Ooh, it's not about fancy words or Instagram quotes. It's about grit, about making one more move when you got nothing left, about choosing progress over pity. Because no one's coming to pull you out, you've got to claw your way back, one decision at a time. One day at a time, one breath at a time. There's something beautiful about rebuilding. When you hit the lowest point, there's nowhere to go but up. You stop being afraid of falling because you've already fallen. You stop worrying about people's opinions because they weren't there when you were crying alone in the dark. You stop playing small because rock bottom shows you how short life really is. You get bold, you get focused, you get dangerous in the best way possible. Because now you got clarity, now you got purpose. Now you're not chasing approval, you're chasing growth. And let's be clear, coming back from rock bottom isn't quick. It's not easy. It's a long, brutal climb. You'll doubt yourself, you'll slip, You'll want to quit more times than you can count. But every time you get up, you rise a little stronger. Every time you push through, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Slowly, you begin to build something solid, something real, something no one can take from you. Because you earned it in the dark. You built it when no one was watching. There are lessons down there that you can't learn on the mountaintop. Lessons about patience, about resilience, about self-worth, about faith, about the power of getting knocked down 99 and standing up 100. Most people avoid pain their whole life, never realizing that pain is the path to purpose. They want comfort, but comfort never made anyone great. What makes you great is going through hell and choosing not to stay. What makes you great is staring down your past and deciding it doesn't define your future. What makes you great is refusing to let failure be the final chapter. You are not broken. You are becoming. You're being refined, not ruined. The pressure isn't there to crush you. It's there to create something new, to awaken the part of you that forgot how powerful you are, to ignite the fire that comfort put to sleep. Don't let the darkness fool you. Just because you can't see the light doesn't mean it's not coming. You are in the process. And when you come out of this, because you're going to be unrecognizable to the person who fell. Rock bottom is not your end. It's your platform. It's your foundation. It's the soil where your roots grow deep. So don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't waste it. Feel every part of it. Learn from it. Then rise. Rise with fire in your soul, strength in your step, and vision in your eyes. Because you're not just coming back, you're coming back stronger. And this time you won't be shaken. Success is not about luck. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's not reserved for the chosen few or the naturally talented. Success is a decision, something you commit to every single day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of your circumstances. It's not some magical event that happens overnight. It's a slow grind, built with discipline, fueled by purpose, and executed with consistency. The truth is, people aren't born successful. They become successful by choosing to show up, to do the work, to stay locked in, even when the world is chaotic, even when no one's cheering, even when quitting looks like the easiest option. The problem is most people are interested in success, but not committed to it. They want the outcome without the process. They want the spotlight without the sweat. They want to win, but they're not willing to bleed. And that's why they lose. Because success demands everything from you. It demands your focus, your time, your energy, your resilience. It demands sacrifice. You can't be half in and expect to win. You can't show up when it's convenient and expect to outperform the people who live this grind every single day. You either decide that this matters to you, or you'll find every excuse in the world to avoid doing what's hard. Decision is power. Decision is power. The moment you decide that you will not live an average life, that you will no longer tolerate excuses, that you will push beyond your limits no matter what, that's when everything begins to change. Not because the world becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop being at the mercy of your feelings. A true decision cuts off all other options. I try, or I hope, or maybe someday, it's I will. And then you back that up with action day after day after day. The grind is not glamorous. It's lonely. It's exhausting. It's repetitive. There are days when it feels like nothing is working, like no one cares, like you're the only one who believes in your vision. That's where most people fold. But you've got to be the exception. You've got to be the one who keeps going when the motivation disappears. Because motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. But discipline, that's built, that's forged in pain and fatigue and silence. And if you really want to reach the top, you have to be more committed to your goals than you are to your excuses. You don't get to skip steps. You don't get to cheat the process. Every ounce of success you want has to be earned. You got to earn the respect, the results, the rewards. That means putting in hours when others are asleep. That means doing the work no one sees. That means showing up even when your body hurts, even when your mind is screaming for rest, even when you feel like you're getting nowhere. Because every rep, every word, every step is stacking up. It may not show right away. Progress isn't always visible, but it's happening. And if you stay consistent, the results will eventually become undeniable. You can't afford to live on autopilot. You can't afford to drift through life, hoping things will change. You have to wake up with intention. You have to wake up with intention. You have to move with purpose. You have to decide every day that your goals matter more than your comfort. Because comfort is the enemy. It lulls you into mediocrity. It tells you you've done enough when you haven't even scratched the surface. It whispers, you're tired when you still got fuel in the tank. If you listen to comfort, you will never know your limits. You will never meet the version of you that could have been great. The path is hard. There's no sugarcoating that. But the alternative is hard. Living with regret, with potential you never used, with dreams you buried, because chasing them was inconvenient. That's the real pain. That's the weight that never goes away. But when you choose discipline, when you choose to commit, even when it's uncomfortable, you start to build something unshakable inside of you. Confidence, grit, self-respect. And that's what no one can take from you. That's the kind of success that doesn't just show up in your bank account. It shows up in your character. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not stuck. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You're one decision away from a completely different life. But it has to be a real decision. Not one made out of hype or pressure, but one made out of conviction. Decide that this matters. Decide that you're done playing small. Decide that from this moment forward, you will take responsibility for your future, no matter what it costs. So when that decision is real, your actions will follow. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter who doubted you. What matters is that you're still in the game. You're still breathing. You still have the opportunity to go all in. So stop waiting for permission. Stop hesitating. Decide to rise. Decide to fight. Decide to become the person you were born to be. And then do the work relentlessly, fearlessly, faithfully, until that decision becomes your reality. You got to understand that average is a disease. It's not just a level of performance, it's a mindset. It's the quiet voice that tells you, this is good enough. It's the compromise you make when no one's watching. It's the decision to settle because greatness takes too much effort, and it's everywhere. Look around, most people aren't striving, they're surviving. Most people aren't chasing excellence. They're coasting through life hoping not to lose. And if you're not careful, you'll catch that same disease. You'll start talking like them, thinking like them, moving like them. Before you know it, your potential is buried under a pile of excuses and comfort. The truth is, average is seductive. It doesn't ask much of you unless you relax. It says, you deserve a break, even when you haven't earned one. It pats you on the back for doing the bare minimum. But here's what average won't tell you. It costs you everything. It steals your ambition. It drains your fire. It robs you of the life you could have had. Because when you choose average, you choose regret. You choose watching other people win and wondering what happened to you. You choose to trade greatness for convenience. But deep down, you know that's not you. You feel that voice inside you screaming that you were made for more, that there's something bigger waiting, that you were never meant to blend in. And that voice, that's your true self. That's your potential trying to break through the surface of your comfort. But here's the catch. Potential means nothing without execution. Everyone has potential. Not everyone has discipline. Not everyone has focus. Not everyone has the guts to demand more from themselves when average feels easy. You weren't born to be average. That's why it doesn't feel right when you settle. That's why you feel frustrated, even when everything looks so fine on the outside. Because your soul knows you're capable of more. Your mind, your moms, you're capable of more, but it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost your comfort. It's going to cost your laziness. It's going to cost your excuses. You're going to have to outwork people. You're going to have to miss out on distractions. You're going to have to keep going when it would be easier to quit. You got to build habits that match the level of life you say you want. You can't say you want to be great and then move like everyone else. You can't say you want to stand out and then copy the people who are content with being average. You've got to live different, think different, train different. You got to push yourself when no one's watching, because that's where the separation is. Not in the big moments, but in the small, consistent ones that most people ignore. People ask for success, but they're not willing to pay the price. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. But the truth is, success doesn't go on sale. You pay full price every time. You pay with your time, your energy, your consistency, your patience. And most of all, you pay with your refusal to settle for average. That's the real cost. You got to say no to the easy route. No to shortcuts. know to compromise. You've got to wake up every day and make a choice. Do I want comfort or do I want legacy? Because legacy is built in the fire. It's built in the moments when you do the work, even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when it feels like no one cares. It's built when you choose progress over pride, growth over ego, purpose over pleasure. It's not always loud, it's not always celebrated, but it's always worth it. You gotta stop waiting for the perfect time. There's no perfect time. There's only right now. And every day you wait is a day you give average more control. You're not gonna stumble into greatness. You're not gonna accidentally become elite. It takes intentionality, it takes hunger, it takes sacrifice. And most importantly, it takes making a decision that average will never be enough for you. When you make that decision, everything changes. Your standards rise, your circle changes, your habits evolve. You stop wasting You stop wasting time on things that don't serve your mission. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand your grind. You stop seeking approval from people who've already settled. Because you're not trying to fit in anymore, you're trying to rise. And yes, it's gonna get lonely. Yes, people will call you crazy. Yes, you'll question yourself. But keep going anyway. Because on the other side of average is everything you've ever wanted. And when you get there, when you look back and realize that you gave it everything, you'll know it was worth it. Every sacrifice, every lonely night, every painful rep. Because you'll have something most people will never taste. Freedom. Freedom that comes from knowing you never settled. Freedom that comes from knowing you became who you were meant to be. It's who you were meant to be. Greatness isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's not something you're born with or something that magically appears in your life when the stars align. Greatness is earned. It's carved out of pain, built through discipline, shaped in silence, and forged in the moments when nobody's watching. But here's the truth that most people ignore. Greatness lies in your daily decision. It lives in the way you show up when you don't feel like it. It lives in how you respond when things fall and when things fall apart. It's not about one big moment. It's about 1,000 small ones. The ones where you chose to keep going when it was easier to quit. You don't stumble into excellence. You work for it every single day. It's not a title you're given. It's a standard you uphold. And that standard has to be higher than what the world expects from you. You've got to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever will. That means staying late when everyone else goes home. That means doing the extra rep, reading the extra page, taking the extra step. It means choosing progress over comfort, effort over excuses, hunger over habits that keep you average. You won't always feel like it. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. You gotta fall in love with the process because the results won't come right away. The world won't clap for you in the beginning. No one will see the early mornings, the late nights, the moments of doubt when you question whether any of this is even worth it. But those moments are the proving ground. That's where greatness is either born or buried. Most people quit because they're addicted to the outcome and allergic to the work. They want the finish line without running the race. But if you're really about this life, if you're serious about becoming who you were born to be, you don't run from the grind. You embrace it. You got to get clear on your why. Because when the pain comes, and your why is what keeps you grounded. It's what pulls you through when the world feels heavy. You got to want it bad enough that you're willing to sacrifice, to say no to distraction, to turn your back on average, to choose focus when everyone else is choosing fun. Your why has to be bigger than your fear, bigger than your doubt, bigger than your excuses. Because on the days you don't feel like showing up, your why will be the only thing that gets you out of bed, and you will fail. That's part of it. You will make mistakes, lose momentum, feel like giving up. But failure isn't the opposite of greatness. It's part of the formula. Every great person you admire has fallen. What separates them is that they didn't stay down. They got back up again and again and again. That's where strength is built, not in success, but in struggle. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, but only if you keep moving forward. Only if you learn, adjust, and grow. That's what it takes. That's the price. And most people aren't willing to pay it. But you're not most people. Or you wouldn't still be here reading this, feeling that fire in your chest. That's not an accident. That's your soul recognizing truth. That's your potential waking up. It's your reminder that greatness is not some unreachable mountaintop. It's right in front of you, waiting to be claimed. But you gotta go get it. You gotta stop playing small. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. That moment is now. That moment is today. You gotta treat every day like it matters, because it does. Every decision compounds. Every choice builds momentum or steals it. You don't have time to waste. You don't have years to give to distractions, laziness, fear. Life is short, and your window to become great is closing by the second. So act like it. Move like it. Work like it. Love like it. Because one day you'll look back at this moment and either say, that's when everything changed, or that's when I let it slip away. People will doubt you. They'll doubt you. They'll laugh. They'll question your path, your decisions, your passion. But that's not sweet. Your job isn't to convince them. It's to become undeniable. To let your results do the talking. To let your consistency become your reputation. To show up so hard, so often, so relentlessly.